Welcome back to American Agenda. It's no secret there has been a mass exodus taking place in some of America's biggest cities. People and businesses are moving at a rapid pace out of urban areas where the cost of living is high, the quality of life is dropping due to COVID-19 and how it's being handled. You've got civil unrest, you've got poor leadership, and not mentioned here are the taxes. How can America fix New York, L.A., and other cities before it's too late? Joining us now, USA Strong Executive Director Erin Elmore, and Phil Valentine is back with us also. Erin, we're seeing this happening in New York, L.A., and I'll get to Nashville in a minute because that's one of the destinations. But how do you sum this up when you look at it?
I mean, based upon reports and preliminary data, New York, L.A., San Fran, Seattle, Chicago have seen significant population outflows in the last 3 to 6 months. And it is no coincidence that these are all Democrat-run cities plagued with a surge in violent crime, looting, rioting, poor response to coronavirus, coupled with less police protection. So anyone who fails to acknowledge the correlation between Democrat-run cities' crime and a mass exodus is simply carrying water for the leftist mob. I'll give you some statistics. According to Douglas Elliman, Manhattan's rental market vacancy rate exceeded 5% in August for the first time in 14 years. New leases were down 23.7% from this time last year.
Wow.
So these statistics quite simply cannot be ignored or attributed to any sort of larger trend other than what you just explained.
Yeah. Now, conservative commentator Ben Shapiro is moving his company's headquarters of his website, The Daily Wire, from Los Angeles to a place called Nashville.
Management's not global warming, by the way. High taxes. They hate people like us, conservatives. So why not go to a more friendly place like Nashville or Tennessee? And so people now have that mobility they never had before coronavirus.
Yeah, that's so true, Erin. And I don't know what stops this, because if technology can allow you to live somewhere else to do your job, why stay in those crime-infested, high-traffic areas? High taxes, too, by the way.
I live in a crime-infested, high-income tax area, and I also have the Citizen app, which tells you where crime is around you. That thing is dinging every 2 minutes. I was 500 feet away. It's not funny, though. I mean, I understand how it is.
I know.
I was 500 feet away from a stabbing with an illegal firearm yesterday as well. So this
where are you, Erin? Erin, where are you?
I'm based in Philadelphia. We have a George Soros-funded district attorney and a mayor who is verging towards socialism. In our city, I have lived here for 20 years. Anyone that says that these Democrats aren't destroying the city have never lived in one or are just turning a blind eye to the decimation, because my life has changed drastically. I went from thinking I was completely safe here to now feeling immensely unsafe.
Have you?
By the way, just to comment on Nashville very quickly, as a state, it's red, but Nashville itself, I believe, has a Democrat mayor.
That's Nashville. Okay, now you're getting into specifics, and that'll get Phil going, because that's one of the issues he has with Nashville proper, which you're absolutely right. But when Phil and I are talking about Nashville, we're really talking about Brentwood and Franklin and all these other places, and Leaper's Fork, where I'd like to live, but that's where all the rich country music artists
live. Well, see, I would tell Erin that, Bob. I mean, she needs to move on the main line. That's where we live, and we live in Philadelphia. When I got there, my realtor said, I said, I want to live in Philadelphia. She said, nobody in their right mind lives in Philadelphia unless you're living at Rittenhouse Square. So you got to get out on the main line. You got City Line Avenue, which is like a war zone border, and then, you know, they try to keep everything out of the main line. So, and that's the way many of these cities are. There are several reasons for it. The crime is because of public housing.
American Agenda, your daily countdown. Until the big day, it's officially 48 days until Election Day, November 3rd. Turning now to the poll vault, where we bring you the latest, most relevant information from surveys across the country. Joining us now, let's take a look right now. We still have Phil and Erin with us, and let's take a look at a new poll from Monmouth University showing Democratic candidate Joe Biden ahead of President Trump by 5 points in the state of Florida, 50-45. Erin, I'll believe that when I see it.
I will believe that when I see it, too. I just spent the last months in Florida, and it does not feel like a swing state at all. The fact that the polling gap is closing between Biden and Trump is not good for the Democrats. The 2016 polling clearly demonstrates the Republicans are, for whatever reason, not adequately represented in the polls. If they were, Trump's win would not have been so surprising and jarring. According to the Cato Institute, 62% of Americans have political views that they're afraid to share. In fact, 77% of conservatives feel that they have to sort of self-censor, while only 2% of liberals feel that they have to do so. You know what this demonstrates? This shows that political expression is an issue that divides the parties and clearly divides the polling.
You know, you get a lot of facts in the things that you talk about. And it was my understanding there would be no math. So I don't know how you feel, but if you're going to be this prepared, Erin, I'm going to have to prepare more myself. Rob, we're joined now also by Rob Smith, Turning Point USA.
The thing about this poll is that we have to realize that this was a poll of 400 people, 400 registered voters, taken over about 3 days. So it's a very, very small sample size. And I'm going to have to agree with Erin that it does not sort of portray the energy that we see on the ground here. I'm in Florida right now. This little special interest group stuff, then you're actually going to connect to people. I don't know how many times Democrats need to learn this lesson over and over again. I hope it's the last time, but who knows?
Yeah, Erin?
Rob, you know what I was going to say? This is not anything other than cringeworthy, but I will say this. This is almost like Hillary Clinton's "I've got hot sauce in my bag" moment. It is almost exactly like that. And first of all, President Trump calls him Slow Joe. Un poquito español. But having said that, doesn't Despacito mean slow? So he's basically making fun of himself. This was just a bad moment all around for Joe Biden. He should have had the old school boombox up instead of his phone because it was really bad all around. I
know. You have to be careful making the analogies because you don't want to insult anybody making the analogy because then you're wrong twice. I do think, though, and I have thought, I agree with you, Erin, I've never thought Sleepy Joe worked. I did think Slow Joe may work. That seemed like maybe that did work, and then Despacito. Yeah, Phil?
I've been calling him for years Anvil Joe. Because I think
it's hard to find healthier people, Erin, than college athletes. And it seems like a lot of people. Here's the other thing, Erin. What drives me crazy is we understand the risk. We get it. We can still move forward. What do you think?
Right. I think this is going to be a huge political talking point for the president because Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, these are key swing states where the election is expected to be decided.
True.
This is going to bode very, very well for the president. Moreover, the polling is beginning to show that the shutdowns, school closures, business restrictions were not productive, not wanted, and not even constitutional. Judge Stickman in my home state of Pennsylvania said that Governor Wolf's COVID restrictions were unconstitutional under the First and 14th Amendment. So getting football up and running is another political point that sways in our president's favor.
Yeah, and it is a step getting back to normal, Rob.
It is. It's an important step to get back to normal. Look, we've been dealing with the pandemic. We've been dealing with that for so many more months here. And it's time for people to get to normal, and we can get to normal safely.
About this, Erin, but I think a lot of people worried that he'd just say, okay, we're going to shut it down.
And he has said that pretty much explicitly. What I also find jarring is that he doesn't have access to all the medical information that our president does. He's acting like he's the president of the United States, not running for the president of the United States. I think if I were him or if I was advising him, I would sort of say, all right, let's not do these press briefings addressing the virus and what we would do. Let's talk about going forward what we can do to make the world a better place and sort of have an economic rebound. It's almost a bizarre dystopian way of handling it, quite personally.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny you say that he talks as if he is president now, because who else did that? Somebody named Hillary. She went through the whole process last time, acting as if she was going to be the one in the White House, and that backfired on her. And that's for any candidate that's out there. What a great panel today. Really enjoyed all of you. Phil Valentine, Rob Smith, Erin Elmore. Thank you so much for being with us. And folks, thank you for being with us. We'll continue to follow what's going on there with Joe Biden and, of course, what President Trump is doing. He's speaking tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll bring you the latest here on Newsmax.